Think we're good. All right. What's up? What's up? Happy Wednesday, fam. It's your boy Darren Mason. I am a leadership and engagement consultant slash coach. I work with individuals, entrepreneurs, business and nonprofit executives so that they can maximize their capital through their resources by sustaining their greatest assets, which is human capital, their relationships. And so, come here to on here today. Rough morning, very hard to get on today to talk about this stuff, but thank God that He gave me a way to kind of tie in everything, how I'm feeling and emotions, into still providing this service for my friends and family. Um, it's tough. It is tough right now, but I think it's very important and timely to even have this conversation because what I had laid out for today does not fit the time and is not relevant at all. So I really want to make sure that our conversations are relevant. So, what is leadership goals? So, what we do here at Leadership Goals is that we talk about ways to help improve leadership skills, just basic leadership skills. So, I get people all the time asking me, I need help with leadership. Want to increase my executive presence. I want to increase my network, my services. And so, not being able to meet with everybody at all times, I decided to do a daily dose of talk and encouragement and just kind of just give some basic skills that you can use. So today, I'm hurt, I'm frustrated, I'm angry for so many different reasons. I don't even know where to start. Like this elephant is so big to even think about how to chew it piece by piece. But what I am optimistic about is that we have the ability to set the tone. Like moving forward, like we can't change things from the past or change things to where um, that they were, but we can set the tone moving forward. So real quick, I want to shout out IG. I see my bro Chris, love you, bro. LJ, love you, bro. See you, bro. Facebook. Let's see who we rocking with today. So I thank y'all for bearing with me. I got the great feedback from yesterday. Like I ain't know how this gonna flow or what it's gonna look like, but y'all rocking with your boy, and I appreciate it. Hey Rosalind, good to see you, girl. Ramon, I love you. Says you already know love way back when. We've been having these conversations since we was jit. So I know you feeling it right now, Mo. Um, Terry, good to see you, bro. TJ, Toy, love you, cuz, big sis. Tawana, Miss Jackson, how are you? Quentin, bro, good to see you. Shout out to you and the fam and gal. Shout out to you and your husband. I've been watching his recovery, and you are amazing. You are amazing cheerleader with your husband. So send him my loves. So we're gonna talk about today is setting the tone. As a leader, you set the tone. You set the tone of your business, of your organization. You set the tone of the culture. You set the tone of the spirit. You set the tone of the environment. You set the tone, good or bad. You set the tone, and so first thing I want to talk about is accepting that responsibility, because a lot of times we don't like to accept the responsibility that we have as leaders. First, we are quick to identify the problems, which is great, which is the great attribute of a leader. But sometimes we don't take on that responsibility that our business, our salons, our schools, our churches, our even our families, that a lot of the issues are things that we have not really fully owned or fully accepted. And so, with everything that's going on right now, um, it's hard to point the blame and point the fingers. But if we haven't created a place of opportunity to just accept a lot of things that is our responsibility in leadership. And so what we see this morning with the protests and the Facebook posts and the our reactions of lack of leadership of because a leader influence, as John Metz would say, is nothing more, it's nothing less. That's leadership. But a leader influence people, influence a group of individuals, good or bad. And so when you see the response of what we have going on right now, it really shows you where problems and situations are a great way to evaluate leadership. And so when you are not in a position to where you are being led properly or shown properly, love, value, the reaction can be twisted. And so when there's not a clear vision or clear agenda of your establishment, of where you're trying to go, you can't hold anybody accountable but yourself. Because when you are looking from left to right and saying that they do this, they got that, you're lost. And you have to own that in that moment, for that time, because there is conflict, there is chaos, there is a uproar, there has to be some type of accountability. And the first person that you should point the finger at is yourself. Because if you are owning and accepting the responsibility, because you could take on a leadership role or be a leader all day long, but if you haven't internally accepted the responsibility, the accountability of self in the roles of providing a service or leading a group of individuals anywhere, it's already jacked up situation. It's already going to be chaos. It's already going to be not right, because we take on roles, we take on responsibilities for the glitz, for the glamour, to say, oh, I'm ahead of this, I'm running that, I got this going on, I'm the boss, I'm my own boss, self-made. But when the responsibility comes, because I teach my kids all the time, a leader is someone who a leader is someone that thinks for themselves, good or bad, and finds solutions to fix it, regardless. Your job is to find a solution to fix the problem. And if you're not ready or willing to accept that responsibility, yeah, there they go. They know that that responsibility, then you should not be in a position of leadership. You shouldn't dare even consider being a leader. You have to be able to accept that responsibility, that if chaos happens in the midst of me with people who I'm leading and I'm representing, then I should not be here. When you lead, when you are called to leadership, when you are called to lead, it's something that you're supposed to bring. You're supposed to bring something with you. It's not just and sometimes you develop things, but there should be something that you bring, and that should be to be able to solve problems, to fix things, to guide things, to restructure, to reevaluate. You should be constantly bringing something. It is a serving job. It's a serving duty. I don't care if you're in just your house and you don't have a family and it's just you. You have a duty to yourself to provide solutions, to provide input, to provide strategy every single day, to get up and to figure it out. And so and that's part of your vision casting, that you're laying out. These are what we are going. This is where we're going. This is our end game. And so a lot of times that we want to get so caught up with the end game and don't want to do the work of what's going on inside our establishments, our groups, our homes, to get to the end game. And so you have to adjust the narrative. Like, you have to be willing to adjust the narrative. Hey, Andrew, see you, bro, from Orlando. You have to be able to adjust the narrative, because if there is chaos and things are going wrong, you can't blame something else. You have to be able to say, you know what? I see where we are. I'm listening on both sides. But we're going to get through this. We're going to fix it. You have to speak life. Adjusting the narrative is basically speaking life into every situation. You can't be like, well, I don't know. I ain't see it. I don't hear it. I don't know. That ain't real. That ain't affect me. I ain't got nothing to do with it. No. You have to shift the narrative. You have to control the narrative. You have to grab hold of the narrative. That's why companies, they invest so much in crisis management and public relations, because he that controls the narrative controls the game. And so you have to be able to grab it by the horns of whatever situation or issue that has arise in your business, in your ministry, in your marriage, in your family, and you have to readjust the narrative and speak life to those who are speaking death, because you still are required to serve those. So if people are speaking death into your business or into your organization, you have to be the one to adjust it and speak life back into it and create a narrative that this shall live and this will not die. This too shall come to pass, that we are the head and not the tail, that we're going to make it through. You have to begin to start speaking those things. And even if it's not, it's just the most jacked up place that you're in, you have to still say, listen, this is what's still going to happen. I don't care if you've been evicted multiple times. We still gonna get through. We still going to that mansion. We still going that dream home. I'm still going there. If you lost your car 10, 4 or 5 times, however, but I'm still going to get what I am promised, what I want, my expectation, the vision that I have. If you have lost your business multiple times, 3, 4 times they fail, but you still see yourself as a multi-million entrepreneur, you still speak there. You adjust the narrative. Don't allow the situations or a poor business plan or a poor business partner or a lazy team or whatever the case may be to dictate where you're going, because you had the vision. It's your vision. It was given to you for a reason. You were entrusted with it for a reason. So you have to be able to adjust the narrative no matter what is going on. And even to right now, as a culture, as a Black man, I'm still speaking life into my community, still speaking life. I'm still going to these meetings, even though that I don't want to. I'm still going to get up and go to these meetings. Even though I don't feel value, I'm still going to speak up. I'm still going to do those things because I have a vision for my community, for my family, for my city, for my culture. I still have that vision. And so regardless of how many times you keep trying to take us out, I'm still going to speak it, and I'm still going to ask you to vote. I'm still going to invite you to these meetings, even though you might not show up. These things are still going to happen. You have to set the tone. You take your frustration, you take your anger, you take that, and you create a narrative around that. So yes, somebody may have been riding with you since day one and they fell off on day 2, but they rode with you as long as needed, and you appreciate that. But you still speak life and keep it going. Keep it going. Don't stop. Because what happens is that now the enemy comes in and reverses everything, because he's not a creator, but he takes what you created and birthed it and what was given to you, and allow certain situations to come and attack, and you start speaking death into a situation that ain't even dead yet. You watch something die. You watch something that you gave life and birth to that is still in a development stage, and speak death upon it. You have to change that word, change it, and get rid of people or things and places that ain't right, that's going against the forces of where you're trying to go, and casting his vision, and cut it out and move it and remove it by the root. But you can't remove anything by the root when the root is your tongue. When your tongue is the very thing that is the root of what's going on, the turmoil, the confusion of what's happening. And so even today, when I watched the protests, and as much as I was like, no, don't do that, but protests don't, chaos and crisis happen everywhere, but the reaction of it is different based on leadership. Because there's been many times where we've seen things like this occur and the city is not in ruins. because there's infrastructure and there's leadership and there's partnerships and there's direction and guidance of how to address and how to release yourself, how to release your frustration and to release. Like, there are proper protocols. When there's no proper protocol, there's lack of leadership, and leadership has been weak since day one, when things weren't as bad but they were still bad. This is what you get. And I'm not condoning the vandalizing the police cars or anything like that, but I do have sympathy when you break and there's no structure to catch you. And so that is just so important, because nobody has really fully took responsibility of our culture, of our race, of us as a people. Like, there's no real accountability on all sides. Because if you are religious and spiritual and you go to church, you're told that we all God's children, we all have the same color, we all one human race, we all kumbaya. It's just pray. It's nowhere where you can go and be like, yes, let's identify this, let's make this happen, let's move. Like, there's no agenda there. You go to these meetings, you go to the community meetings, people fighting about who's the president, who ain't the president, who is here longer, who ain't here longer. Then you have your generational issues of, you're not ready yet, you too young, you too. It's just always something. Like, there's not a way of saying our responsibility and we owning it. This is our responsibility. This is what we are at right now, of where we're doing today. And so the last thing, so we talked about casting a vision, make it clear, like knowing the direction as a leader of what you're trying to do. Before you address anybody on your team, before you address anybody that's going on, you have to go back and check out the vision, or what you wrote about, or what God shows you, what you journal, seeing are we on track, because you can't hold nobody else accountable for something that you're not even in line with. So that's one. You got to revisit the vision, cast the vision, make it clear to yourself, and you have to own that responsibility. That your job is to make it better. It's to fix it. It's to find the solutions by any means necessary. That's within reasons. That's ethical. And then you have to adjust the narrative. You have to be able to speak life. Speak life. Speak life. Like, life is so powerful. Like, the words that we speak are really underrated. We don't even know how much power that we have in our in our speaking. And the proof of it is that you can have the strongest person on your team. You can have recruited the best person. That this is the person that you want to be working with you, working for you. Like, you already became best friends with this person on social media. That's the person you want. And then you get them on your team, you get them involved, you get them drawn into your space in which you want them to do. And you're the one that's speaking depth upon this person or this partner, or you always negative. You always got something to say. Everything ain't good. You don't like when somebody come to you and share some compassion, because that's what you do as a leader. You're not just a manager, a supervisor on the job. You are the counselor. You are a therapist. You are all this stuff. And people kill me people don't kill me, but people amaze me when they say, I ain't got time, I ain't signed up for all that. Yes, you did. When you open that business, you signed up to be a counselor. You signed up to be a social worker. When you open that barbershop, you signed up for that. When you open that school, you signed up for these parents that's all over the place, and just you signed up for that. When you open that church, or you started a ministry, you started a t-shirt, you signed up for all that. Yeah, yes, you did. Yes, you did, because God has somebody else saw the light that God put inside of you. So they're naturally attracted to it. They're naturally attracted to it. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, people, when you allow yourself to shine brightly and allow God to use you, people identify and draw to it. So you have to be careful of how you treat people. So if you have somebody who you like, well, dang, when they was with such and such, they was thriving, they was rocking. Well, you don't know what was said in those back doors. You don't know what was said, that impartation, that life that was spoken to them that allowed them to thrive. The mental capacity, the comfort, the affirmation. And then they come with you on your team, and it's just all negativity. It's just chaos. Everybody's gossiping, bickering, and mad, and frustrated, and angry, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that ain't where I come from. That ain't my root. That ain't how I operate. That ain't how I was trained. I don't function over here. I'm not performing the way that to my max because you're speaking death upon me. You're not affirming who I am. You're not reminding me of who I am. As leaders, that's all we do, because our Father, He reminds us, our Heavenly Father reminds us of who we are. This word reminds us of who we are. We have to be able to continue in following that way, that if He reminds me of who I am, and you're supposed to be made in His image, I'm supposed to be made in His image. We're supposed to be constantly pouring and sharing and speaking life into people. Your human capital is your greatest assets of any job, of any business, any ministry. If you're not building up those people and speaking life, even if you don't even know what to do, you can speak life. You can give them a hug. You can create affirmations for the company. That's how you set the tone. If you don't know what else to do, that you have had meetings after meetings after meetings with your team, you don't know what to say. Hey, before you come in, here's our affirmation word wall. Everybody is required to look at it, to speak on it. I want to hear you. Or send out emails of affirmations and words, and just speak life into people, even if they're not the best person on the team. You can just encourage them. Listen, I have coached step teams, dance teams with the worst dancers, but because Mr. Mason, Coach Mason said I'm the greatest, them kids came from 3 left feet to now are in college doing choreography all over the world. I have seen ministries that was just pure-hearted, but had no management, to now are opening and expanding ministries and buildings and just the work, just by speaking life. Because when you build it up, God does the rest. He does the rest. He does the pruning. He's the great architect. He's the potter. Just give him some good clay. Just create a great way of soil. And you'll be surprised how much you see things change. Like even now with society that we in today, like I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm pissed. But I know the power of my words. I know the power, the authority that I have. And so the people that I'm still working with, we got stuff to do. Now our direction may shift, our approach may shift, but at the end of the day, I'm still believing that it has to get better. It has to get better. It's not when or why or should. It has to get better. And so yeah. So that's where we're at. So, and our last thing is that you have to take action. Like once you revisit the vision, once you revisit and saw and get back in line of what you are supposed to do, because we get so distracted. We look at this person, they moving faster than me, then they moving this, and that's not happening. This is not happening. And then we lose focus and just becoming busy and not effective. So we lose track. We lose vision. We blah, blah, blah. Boom, right? And then we adjust our narrative. We take responsibility of the narrative and begin to speak life into it, speaking life into our team, speaking life into our family, speaking life into our job, our organization, speak life into it. And then we take action. And so the action has to be, I heard somebody say before, is that you don't do to be seen, but you be seen doing. Yeah. Don't do it to be seen, but you have to be seen doing it. Meaning that don't just tell me you're advocating for me, Send me, CC me in the email. Let me see it. Let me see that you value me. Give up a promotion. If you see somebody that has the value, promote them. Give them the raise. Take action. You know what I'm saying? Do a celebration, monthly celebration. This is one of our team. I just want to show that I value you, that I appreciate you, that you held us down. Companies, organization, ministries, you should be trying to figure out now, how do I celebrate my team through a pandemic, through a crisis, through a time of distrust and distress. So who can I highlight in our newsletter? How can I send an email just to say thank you? I appreciate you. Take action following the words of affirmation. Take action after you revisit your vision. Do something intentional. Don't just say that I'll send a nice statement out. No, I want to see a video of you calling the mayor. Let me see you call the mayor. Call the state rep. Show something. Document this. Show the action of what you're doing. Don't just say, "Oh, we handle it." How did you handle it? I want to know. Verify that you handled a situation, because a lot of times and I've been in these rooms and in these meetings, and I have been guilty of myself of just doing it and coming back, said it was taken care of, moving forward, next agenda item. No, we like to be a part of it. As a human race, like, we like to know the backstory. Like, how did it get happen? Who did you call? What because when I see a promotion of somebody that's working hard, that's going to motivate me and encourage me. When I see somebody else that gets a raise because of something that they handled, that's more motivating me. When I see, as a kid, when I was go to my parents and say, "Hey, I didn't do this," the teacher lying on me, blah, blah, blah. Even if I wasn't telling the truth, but the fact that they would get up and go to the school and to find out, and then find that I was lying, that I really did do it. But at least in my head, I know I'm secure that they gonna look out for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I see that I'm working hard and I'm getting promoted, at the end of the day, it does something with your team. It does something with the morale. It does something when you are celebrating. So our goal of the day is to set the tone. But you set the tone by you revisiting and being confident in the vision first, by you creating and adjusting the narrative. So if people are being so aggravated and so gossipy and it's just so much, you said to someone, say, "Nah, that ain't how we do it. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut that negativity down. Shut the negativity down in your head and your heart and your emotions first, and then go all the way down. Let it trickle on down. When you get back in your right mind space and knowing who you are and what you are called to do, instead of trying to appease and create something that's not you, then you set the tone. When people know that we walk in to work, or you walk into church, or whatever that you're doing, and we all smiling, the tone is set. That's what we do. That's our culture. That's how we handle ourselves. And then take action. You have to be intentional when you make a drastic move that can affect people and their emotions, their mental state. You have to reaffirm them that you value them. So I worked on a project, and I was giving my 2 cents. It was a campaign. I'm telling them, this is how I feel. This is how we should do. This is what we should do. I'm telling you, like, trust me, like, please, please, please. And when I said it, it was just like, okay, next. But when my white counterpart Mel said it, this is a great idea. This is so wonderful. When I send an email out, nobody responds. When somebody else send an email out, they get highlighted in the newsletter. And so it makes you feel like, why am I here? What am I doing? And so my natural reaction, well, I'm gonna fall back. I ain't gonna say nothing. Y'all can figure this thing out. But nothing was getting done. They was back in circles. How we do this? How we do this? We don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. And so until you get frustrated and kind of get out of character, then you say, well, why didn't you just say that the first time? Don't be that type of leader. Like, if somebody is bringing great value and great input, don't be threatened. Don't be intimidated, because they on your team for a reason, right? Like, they are on your team for a reason. There's no reason to be threatened by anything, because when they thrive and doing good, that makes you look good, and that's less stress that you have to worry about, right? And so so intentionally take action. So if they're constantly giving good feedback, they're constantly bringing great things to the table, and they are building in a influence, because that's leadership, is influence, nothing more, nothing left, by the great John Maxwell. That's what he said. So if you're seeing those patterns, don't be intimidated. Speak life into it and take action, and give them a role to where they can lead and progress it, and to duplicate that same type of culture. And so even now, I am still I can still see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know how long we got. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there, but I do see it. And we're going to get through this pandemic. We're going to get through this racist white supremacy as a culture. We're going to get through this. I don't have all the answers right now, but the answers that I have, I'm gonna do what I can. And so, but we got to set the tone. Like, it's no more blaming the older generation. There's no more blaming. It is what it is. So now we have to adjust the narrative and control the narrative and put action into it. And that's our start. That's not the answer, but that's my start. That's our start of things that we can do. And so, but yeah, these kids, they held it down for what, 30 minutes. Super proud of them. They are quiet, a little too quiet. So let me go check on them. And so that's our leadership goals for today. So our goal of the day is set the tone within your ministry, within your business, within your school, within your family. You set the tone. All right. God bless.